What they didn't do was respect the wolf's kink for blowing stuff down. See, it was an urge, and while he should have asked for consent first, they maybe could have set up a little straw hut or something for him to blow over. It would have helped.
The wolf just really wanted to blow.
Warning for underage listeners. This is an adult-oriented podcast. There will be frequent references to kink, sex, crude language, and various other grotesqueries. If you're under 18 and looking for answers and upfront advice about sex, please visit scarletteen.com. Also, for the dude bro listeners out there, this is nerdy shit. Go away.
Welcome to the Gotham Press Podcast.
This is a verbal orgy about anything like the Grafenberg spot,
The difference between Star Trek and Star Wars.
the finer points of throwing a pair of floggers, and just whatever the hell we find to talk about.
That said, if you have a desire to learn these and many more kinktastic nerdgasms, stay tuned.
Hey ladies and gentlemen, Greedy here. I'm just here to give you a trigger warning. Today's episode is going to discuss loss and possible sexual abuse. So if you care to listen for everything except that, listen up to about the 12 to 13 minute mark. When you hear my voice start to get a little bit slower, you'll know you're there. Have a good day, folks.
Hey there, Gotham. I can't even say the word properly.
Fail.
Hey,
You got this.
anyway, hey there, Gothamites. Welcome back to the Gotham Press Podcast. Greedy.
Hi.
And you know what? I'm just going to go into it. We have guests.
We
Hi.
do.
Hi,
Hello.
guest.
Hello.
All right. So, guest to my left, who are you?
My name is Coryn.
Hi there, Coryn.
Hello.
Guest in front of me, who are you?
I'm Hector, the rotten one on FET.
Hector the Rotten One.
Yep.
Is it Hector the Rotten One, or
Hector, comma.
what is your FetLife profile?
Hector is my name. My FET life is the rotten one, _rotten, and then the number one.
Excellent. Coryn, can we get your FetLife name?
Yes, my FetLife name is Coryn. It's Coryn.
Score.
The proper way of spelling it, right?
Exactly. That's a whole different story.
Well, I'm Greedy Paul.
And me, I'm just awesome. No.
Lies.
Hey, nobody asked you. Captain Awesome 82 on FET.
I know they didn't.
I don't think we've actually given our FET names in quite some time.
I don't think we have.
Man, we suck.
Right?
Well, you do.
Only when she's wearing her strap on.
Well, like I said, you suck.
That's valid.
We see what he's into, really.
I have absolutely no problem admitting that, yes, I will suck on her strap on because A, it's hot, B, it gets her off, and C, it usually gets me fucked.
This is a win. I mean, really.
Yeah, win-win.
I agree. I do.
I'm just kind of... Where are we going today? What's the plan today?
Well, I believe we were going to talk about some sort of nesting dolls.
A Netflix show. Russian Doll. Corinne, you have a girl crush there?
Oh, I have a huge girl crush on Natasha Lyonne. I have for a long time, but Russian Doll really sealed the deal.
I mean, I've had a crush on her ever since American Pie. So.
Right. She's pretty amazing.
She is. She's
and
hot.
She's pocket-sized, which is just even better.
I kind of want to get the song that keeps playing every time she repeats.
Right, yes.
Greedy, you need to watch the show on Netflix. It's, think Groundhog Day, but...
Better. And hotter.
Well, Groundhog Day is still great, mind you.
It is. It is.
She keeps repeating the same evening over and over. But unlike Groundhog Day, whereas it always repeats exactly at, 6 a.m. on Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
It repeats when she dies. So she will die, and then it will snap back to her beginning point. But if she doesn't die, she just goes on for a few days, however long she makes it.
Okay, so what is the beginning point?
The beginning point is her birthday party. Her birthday party, the evening of her birthday party.
Okay.
It starts while she's in the bathroom,
Looking in the mirror.
looking in the mirror, not using the bathroom. She's just looking in the mirror, and like the initial one, she's like giving herself a little pep talk and all this, and she goes out to like, okay, let's go to this party,
Okay.
and then she ends up dying, and then she's back in the bathroom, and as most people do, it's like, what the fuck? I did just get hit by something, didn't I?
Okay.
And then she just goes on about the night, like, okay, everything's still fine, everything's cool. And then she dies again and ends up back in the bathroom.
Was it in the same manner?
No.
Okay.
No.
There's a couple of repeats, but no, it's different every time.
Yeah.
Is there any way
Slightly.
to break the cycle, or does it just
That's the
happen?
point.
That you have to watch the show.
It's her going through, following clues, figuring out. There's a big twist at the end of episode 3 that will hook you.
There's a big twist at the end of episode 3, and the final episode is,
Huge.
man. Also, if you pay attention, there are little things that change that upon the first viewing, you probably won't notice until maybe episode 4 or 5.
Captain may or may not have gotten some tips on the little things because he could hear me gasp like when I found something that I didn't notice the first time. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
now
might have to watch this.
I
So
would
good.
100% recommend. We can watch it at some point. It's fine. I'm okay with watching it again.
Yes.
This coming from the man that never wants to watch anything more than once.
I usually don't want to watch things more. This is one of those occasions where, okay, there are things that you missed the first time. So you have to give it a second viewing to catch up on the things that you missed.
I got you.
But yes, definitely Russian Doll on Netflix, 100% recommend.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'll
Hector,
have
you
to
got to
check
watch
that
too.
All right.
All right.
So, who here has heard of a website called literotica.com?
Here, here.
Who hasn't heard of
I have
Literotica?
not.
Hector
I
has
have,
not.
I've contributed to literotica.com.
Oh, do tell.
So I'm
I'm pretty
guessing
sure
news
the-
accurate.
I'm pretty sure that the stories I posted there are cross-posted on my FetLife profile. So
Okay, I'll check them out. Anyway, so I used to read Literotica back years ago. I'm the type of person that gets off on using my imagination to see sexual experiences, and
Here.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Reading people's own imagination, seeing what they feel was hot, that can be really incredible. And getting onto Literotica, you can have, I want to say there's something like 30 or 40,000 stories on there right now.
I believe it.
Some of them are just mind-bendingly sexy, and you can contribute your own stories. You can rate their stories. You can. There's a lot of sexy time you can waste on there.
Greedy, put it back in your pants. Greedy, put that back in your pants.
Hey, this is my kink. Enjoy it.
No!
it's a good kink.
Some people like to watch porn. Some people like to read it.
Hey.
Yes.
No,
I'm the type that likes to
And
read.
I've actually written it before, so I need to get on the website.
You do. You share it on there, and you'll get to share it with like-minded people. I mean, people that are on there because they want to read and write and share and
And
be
get
shared
off.
with and get off.
Yeah.
And in my experience, people, I'm not sure how it works, but basically sort by new quite often. Mm-hmm. So you will get feedback.
Yeah.
You won't just get lost among the...
Yeah, the hardest part will be actually writing something because I haven't done it in a while.
I know. I feel you on that. I haven't written anything in over a year, maybe
Man,
two
I
at this
used
point.
to write so much fan fiction. I literally wrote like a book-length fanfic for one of my favorite series. It was just huge.
What series?
It was Sayuki. It's an anime.
Oh, okay.
You know it. Good.
Yeah, I do know Sayuki. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of my favorites. It came to me at a time in my life when I really needed the main message,
Okay.
Well, if that's something you still have, type it up. I mean, share it.
It's
I'm
still
sure
up
people
on
would enjoy it.
fanfic.net, I'm sure, but it's...
Oh, wow.
I was
going to
do like a slow burn, and I never really got to the main,
Well, as we're on the topic of fanfic and writing erotica, Do you guys have any other sites that we can observe? Because fanfic.com, yeah.
Archive of Our Own is one that's pretty highly regarded around most of the people I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything from you, Corinne?
No, I've just got Literotica and FetLife.
Yeah. I never actually posted anything on Literotica. I posted some of my old writings on my FetLife profile and on the Gotham Press profile. That's what we didn't do, Greedy.
Oh, tell
You
people
didn't,
our social media outlets.
Yes, Greedy, which I'll go ahead and do since you seem to hate it.
Thank you, dude. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, for now. I'm giving you an out this time. Just this time.
Yeah.
Next time, learn.
Okay.
All right, so you can find us on Facebook, Gotham Press Podcast. You can find us on FetLife, The Gotham Press. You can find us on Twitter, Gotham Press Pod. You can find us on BDSM since Tumblr died. Moment of silence.
Moment over.
Gotham Press Podcast. You can find us on... I'm missing something. What am I missing?
FetLife.
No, I said FetLife already.
Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. Oh, wait, no. BDSM, Twitter.
You can email us.
Email?
GothamPressPodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, and you can find us on any of the podcatchers that you are probably listening to us on right now. Spread the word to your friends.
YouTube.
Oh,
Yep.
yes. You can find us on YouTube. Just search for Gotham Press Podcast.
Do you have videos now?
We do not have videos, but our audio automatically gets uploaded there. I would love to have videos, but that requires people that are comfortable with showing their faces. Or at least showing something like, hey, here is me.
I will show my nipple.
As long as it's not female
Just
presenting.
this
Yeah.
one.
So as long as it's female presenting,
There's
then
enough
we're good.
hair. There's enough hair that it's not female presenting. At least YouTube won't flag it as female presenting.
And even if you do have female presenting nipples, you just need like a little mustache, maybe.
Oh, Hector, I love where your mind is. This is wonderful.
I kind of wanted to put a audio effect with that image called ha
Oh, titty croissant.
titty croissants. Yes, and that was for
I believe that would be Brat of Steel.
Brat of Steel.
Yep.
I died when I came in here and saw that on the whiteboard.
Yes.
Tete croissants.
Oh, we should take a picture of that and put it up on our
Yeah, we should.
FetLife. Yeah.
But yeah. We can put it on the other social medias.
Oh yeah, we can do it everywhere else.
BDSMbler,
Okay.
Twitter,
Twitter.
Instagram.
That's it. Fuck you. Fuck you, Greedy. I'm going to put you in charge of the Instagram since you want to bring it up all the fucking time.
We love you, dude.
You notice how he just kind of like sidestepped that one, right? Because he doesn't
Sidestep? I don't know what you're talking about.
he doesn't want to do anything.
So, in other news,
in other news,
at this point, I don't really know how to say this. Our community suffered a rather massive blow,
a loss.
a tremendous loss. One of our members recently, very very unexpectedly and very tragically, lost her life. I'm sorry. This is rather rough to get through. Mickey 80.
Take your time, man.
She got word that her house was on fire, and 4 of her kids were in that house. She rushed home, and without thought to her own life or health, she ran into that burning house, and it was billowing smoke. It was gone at this point, but she ran in to save her kids, and she lost her life in the process. All of her kids are out of the house. All of her kids are alive and well. They got treated at a hospital, but she lost her life in the process. She was
She was an amazing person.
an amazing person, amazing mother, amazing friend, and she was really a pillar of our community. So, in that regard, I I think all of the moments of silence that we've had up until this point would be meaningless to her. She wouldn't want a moment of silence. She would want us to talk. She would want us to celebrate and
Celebrate her life.
celebrate her life. So, with that in mind,
Excuse me.
something I think we need to talk about is how to deal with loss in our community, how to deal with grief, because our society as a whole does not talk about it almost at all.
It's a rough topic. It's hard, and people don't want to talk about it because they haven't been raised to talk about it, to know that, hey, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be upset. It's
Yeah.
okay to have these emotions.
We're all told the ways that we should grieve, but we're rarely given permission to grieve how we actually need to.
Yeah, that is. Oh my God. I think this is probably going to be the worst episode I've ever done.
Hey, not worst. Not worst.
Hardest.
Oh, definitely the hardest.
So, how
What do you do to process it?
I am not the best at processing. I will try my best to be the stoic man that, other people can come to, and I will do my best to hold it in until I can't. You may have seen on Friday when we had our memorial, I was kind of there. I was good, and then I saw someone that I ended up didn't have to, but I was one that ended up doing it, giving the tragic news to that morning. And I just kind of broke down because it is a very, very, very shitty thing to be the one to give that kind of news. Mm-hmm. It's not that it's something that can be avoided. It has to be done. And they're going to find out. And it's one of those, I would much rather somebody find out for somebody that they know that cares about them than, some random, oh, by the way, in other news, this happened, sort of thing.
Fuck you, Facebook.
On
Fuck you,
Facebook,
local
yeah.
news.
I found it on Facebook.
I was driving in my car, and because I had a long drive that morning, and I have my phone set up so that it notifies me when I get an email. So when it was posted to the Bakersfield Munch group, I got a little email saying, this happened, and
Oh, wow.
in a way, I'm kind of glad that that's how I found out, because I was on the road, I had my radio playing, and then I had plenty of time to think about it and process it without having to worry about anybody else about doing anything specifically.
I found out at work.
Oh man, that sucks.
So it was, okay, it is now, I believe it was right around 7:30, maybe it was a little bit before 8. Either way, I had a long day still ahead of me. So it's, hey, I am out at work and I have to go out on site and do my job. And it was a rough day at work for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah.
I've personally been through loss. 10 and a half years ago right now, my 2-year-old son drowned, and it was absolutely devastating. What I want to say is, for anybody listening that is going through grief, it's a process. It doesn't have an ending. It gets easier to deal with, but it doesn't stop. So don't ever listen to people that say, well, you should be over it by now. because
Those people are fucking dicks.
they don't know what you're going through. They don't
Yeah.
know your process for it. While they may have built up walls to suppress their grief, which is still there, they aren't you. So don't try and live your grief through their expectations.
The first time I experienced loss, I actually went and looked up the stages of grief to make sure I was doing it right.
There's no right way.
There's not, and that's what I learned that time because I was another child that I knew, and my grief was severely stunted because I was so worried about how I was supposed to be doing it. And
There's no right way to do it.
yeah, since then I've experienced an unfair amount of loss, and I'm more in touch with how I grieve now. And so it's not easier, but at least I know what to expect of myself so that I can be there for other people a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't know what else to say about it. I had a lot of stuff that I wanted to say, but I couldn't even write it down.
For me, it actually depends. Sometimes I need a little time out. Most of the time, I'll just power through it. I keep going to work. I take care of my kids. I do what I need to do, and
You live life.
eventually it catches up with me, and eventually I get to the point where I can confront it. Sometimes it takes longer than others, and I've got to say, while this loss was devastating, it's not the first. It's just the most recent for me. The Antelope Valley community, and for those of you who don't know, I moved up here in April last year. We had 3 losses over the last year or so in that community. One of them was a very dear friend of mine, and I've told people, it took me months to process that. I kept going to the mansion expecting her to walk back in at any moment. She was just, she was there, and then one day she wasn't. She had RSVP'd to the munch. She didn't show up. Somebody called, and her brother answered her cell phone and said that she had overdosed a few weeks earlier. And that was it.
I feel like in times like this, everybody always, reminds each other to hug your loved ones because our time is precious, and that's true, but it's also an important time to remember all the warnings that we hear every single day. Make sure that your family has an escape plan in case of a fire.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have a meeting point. Make sure that there is a locking fence around that pool. Make sure that you are using car seats correctly. All of these warnings that we hear every day and brush off could save lives, like for real save lives. And times like this are the times to remember, do it now. I went home last night and we went through a fire safety plan with my entire household, including where to meet and how to break a window effectively. And
Yeah.
you have to actually do these things. Not to blame anyone who was lost in these ways, but don't let it be in vain. Don't let it happen again.
Yeah.
So at the memorial, I had a moment. I broke down something that I really just... It was completely unexpected, and so here in Bakersfield, I do a monthly game night, and it's just a time for us to come together and enjoy ourselves, just playing games, not in a kinky way, obviously in a kinky way, but just, hey, let's play some board games, let's have some fun, play some Jackbox games, whatever. And Mickey always... The first time I pointed out a game that I'd had for years that I'd never actually sat and played. And so we played it. And she loved it. and every subsequent game night, she always wanted to break that game out. It was something stupid. It's, shots and ladders.
Oh, we played that last time.
Yeah, because she always wants to play it. That's her. She's like, that's a great icebreaker game for her.
It was fun.
See? And the first time I actually met her, it was going to her house with a group of friends. And we played battle shots. And it's funny because apparently she'd been setting up for the night, getting like Jello shots ready. She spilled a whole tray of Jello shots just before we got there, and she was so devastated about that. But the night was great, and it was hilarious. And at the memorial, I made a joke to one of my friends that was there for that first night that, oh no, we won't be able to play battle shots anymore. And then my friend said to me, what about shots and ladders? And suddenly it just hit me because I hadn't thought about that. Those little things that that just won't be the same. And it hurts. I'm done. I'm done. Somebody say something, please.
There's a couple of attempts to raise money going around the internet right now. And the most popular one, their goal was $3,000. And as of right now, it is up to $25,000 and $24,064.
And that's great. That's amazing. And the amount that people are willing to give to help in a situation like this is beautiful. I literally hate that it has to be done.
And then behind us, there's a countertop filled, overflowing with donations for the kids.
Yeah.
On top of losing their mother, which is a tragedy in itself, they lost their home. They lost almost everything they had. And they have to start their lives over now. It's donations. Money isn't a replacement for this. It's oh my God, these kids have been through tragedy already. Just a few years ago, they lost their father. He died of cancer, and they were grieving. They were getting on without their dad already. Now they've lost their mom, and nothing that we give them or do for them is going to replace that. All we can really do is try and make it a little easier, give them less to worry about while they're grieving in their own time, in their own way. With that in mind, we're going to be posting the link to the GoFundMe in the show notes. I've got a meeting set up with the oldest of her children. She's 18, I believe.
She's 18.
So she's capable of being on her own, of being in charge of all of this stuff now. We're going to get with her and see what we can do to help their family. By the time this show is aired,
I'm just gonna see about getting this up ASAP. I'm not gonna wait for the usual Wednesday.
Okay. Then so maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Just as soon as I can get through the editing process on this one.
Okay. Well, then look for a link to the GoFundMe, the current GoFundMe, in the show notes here.
Yeah. You know
when
what? Honestly, as long as we don't have any major screw ups on as
it'll
far
be up
as
today.
I will just put it up as is. I'm not gonna edit it for length or anything like that. It's just gonna go up as is because
Okay.
we this is one where it has to be felt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, in future shows, look for the link to the GoFundMe that we're going to be setting up. The one that was created wasn't exactly marketed for national or international attention.
It wasn't.
So that's one of the things that I'm going to be discussing with the eldest daughter. We're gonna get them some national attention. This story has been on CNN, has been on Huffington Post. You said,
Yeah.
So it's got some attention across the nation.
We just wanted to make sure that it's not, hey, here's a blip. Oh, everybody cares. And what was that again?
Yeah, we're going to bring this forward, and we're going to bring attention to having a game plan in case something happens, and not only having that plan, but practicing it, putting it into action at least a few times, so that everybody has some idea. Oh, this is happening. I'm supposed to do this. Boom. Let's do this.
Yes.
So it's almost like second nature. This was a tragedy that easily could have been averted. Mickey, we will miss you
Very much. I had words, but I can't think of them right now. Oh, that sucks. I'm being a horrible podcast host right now.
This is a horrible podcast right now.
This is.
Coryn,
Yes.
you just recently started a group here.
I did.
Locally.
January was our first meeting. We're calling it Kinky Survivors of Trauma. Kind of ties right in right now. Okay, making my brain switch gears right now.
Sorry. So sorry.
No, it's okay. Trauma affects everyone differently. And sometimes it can affect different parts of your life in very individual ways. And in our kinky lives, a lot of times trauma can get in the way in ways that other people wouldn't even consider. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is domestic violence and sexual trauma. But other types of trauma outside of that can also impact us. And so this group is to bring people together of all genders, of all roles in the community, and learn ways to not only process our trauma, but to be our own advocate, to avoid re-traumatizing ourselves, and to keep ourselves safe.
When you say re-traumatizing ourselves, what do you mean?
For example, my main trauma was sexual in nature. It was very, very violent, and it messed me up really, really bad. But from the outside, it could have very much looked like something we do here in this house for fun. The big difference was that I wasn't consenting.
Consent is a very important thing.
And so some of my triggers are things that you will see every day in a BDSM scene. I can't be choked. I can't do any sort of breath play. I can't handle any face hitting. I can't handle any derogatory words being said to me. And for a more experienced person, those are easy to work around. There's lots and lots and lots of things that you can do to avoid those things. But to an unexperienced person, in my case, an unexperienced top, those are hard to avoid because they don't have the creativity or experience to avoid them. And so just under a year ago, I was re-traumatized by a partner who, when I go into subspace, I pretty much go nonverbal when I'm in really deep. And even though we had negotiated and negotiated and negotiated, he still pushed my hard limits in ways that I had asked him not to. And because I was nonverbal, because I was having a panic attack and I was so deep in subspace, his excuse was, well, you didn't call a safe word. And so since then, I've learned to use physical safe words like drops, where you're holding an object, and if you drop it, then that's your safe word.
Scene's over.
Scene's over. I also ask all of my plate partners to rely heavily on my no. My no should be considered a safe word. And so that's basically what the group is for. We've had one meeting so far, and I feel like a lot of people really got a lot out of it. And I also learned a lot about running a group. So we're actually holding another one. I didn't think that this would be up in time, but I guess it will be. We're holding our second group this coming Tuesday, the 12th of February, here at headquarters. And, I've got some more strategies to help the group run a little bit more smoothly, to avoid crosstalk, make sure everyone gets heard. And we're also going to be holding space at the beginning of the group to remember Mickey. So that anyone who's not necessarily interested in the group but needs that specific support can come. And that will be first and foremost addressed. And then once we've kind of processed a bit, then we can move on to other things if it feels right.
Real quick. Everything you said is great, amazing. It's just when you just said, remember, Mickey, it just... Mm-hmm. It hurts.
Yeah, it does. It sucks.
Normally, because we're recording this on a Sunday, we normally, right now, we'll be playing D&D with Mickey. She was horrible at D&D, but she was learning. She'd be asking if she detects evil. Using it completely incorrectly, but it was amazing. And I would be sitting there frustrated, like, no, you don't detect evil. There's no reason, but... I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Please, continue.
Okay. So, after group, we're also going to go outside and offer saging to anyone who needs that. We did that at the memorial as well. And I know it really helped a lot of people kind of lighten their spiritual load. So that's something we're going to incorporate going forward. But at every group, I bring comfort items and I bring fidget items because fidget items are my comfort items. I encourage people to bring their own comfort items, including if your comfort item is a person, then bring your person as long as they leave the floor open for the survivors/victims. I also always bring resources on trauma, resources on domestic violence, resources on suicide hotline. I bring suicide hotline cards to pretty much everything I go to now. This week I'm also going to be bringing BDSM checklists because it's important for those of us who are trying to reclaim our kinkiness to know ourselves and be able to talk about our wants and our needs. So we're going to be going over BDSM checklists this week as well. And they'll be available for everyone to take home.
That's great. That's amazing.
It's this Tuesday, the 12th at 6 p.m. And going forward, it's either going to be on the second or third Tuesday, depending on my schedule. But it'll be posted well ahead of time in the event section on FetLife.
That's great. I'm sorry. There should be more. I should be better at this. How long have we been doing this? Hell,
I've been recording for a few years now.
Hell, I've been recording longer than that because, before I moved out here, I should be better at this. I'm sorry, I'm taking the stage for myself.
You are doing nothing wrong right now.
We all grieve in our own manner, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Hector.
Hi. How's it going?
You see you sitting over there, very patiently waiting your turn. I'm sorry. Were you finished, Coryn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hector. What brings you to us today, other than the news, the current events?
It was mostly that, I've been listening to the podcast for a while. I appreciated it, and I thought, this is cool. I want to be a part of it.
Greedy, we have a fan.
I'm a fan
Yeah,
too.
I'm one
two
of the
fans.
few people who actually subscribes to you guys on YouTube. So.
You actually?
Well, that's one of the 4. Okay.
Wait, you
Yeah.
actually went to the YouTube to see how many we have?
Well, you and I each count as one as well.
Oh. Wait,
So we have one more to figure out who it is.
that works. Hey, we know who we are. Oh, sorry. Continue, Hector.
Yeah, it just, I had never really listened to podcasts before, but when I heard you guys had one, I was like, oh, cool, I know somebody who has a podcast, so I'm going to listen to it. And
That's great.
I already subscribed to a couple different channels on YouTube, so it just worked out better than the Podbean stuff. I don't know anything
perfect.
about it.
See? YouTube works.
Apparently it does. So we have YouTube to thank for 2 listeners.
Hey.
All right.
We are okay. Hey, I listen. You don't, but I do.
Not on YouTube. I'm not going to inflate
You have
our
6
numbers.
subscribers right now.
Wow.
Okay, so we need to figure out 3 others.
Well, one of them was me.
We need to figure out 2 others.
So,
Yay for laughter.
Well, I think this is. Were you done with what you had to say, Hector?
I somewhere along the way, I just kind of got lost in thought about it, but, I guess the only thing I wanted to say is that, no one can ever be replaced. I think that's the hardest part of this, is knowing that all those little things that made that made her important to you guys, that made the people that were lost in the Antelope Valley community important to us, we're not going to see those again.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's hard.
It's hard, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, but it's, and I know that she would want, and that the people that we've lost would want us to go on.
Yeah.
I know they'd want us to be happy with our lives, and to make the best of what we have. And you guys have such a beautiful community up here. So many people came to that memorial, and they brought food, and they brought comfort. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
Greedy's
It was
casserole was
really
awesome.
wonderful.
I ate
glad
it for
you liked
breakfast the next day.
That's what happened to it. Okay.
Sorry.
And then
no,
I
sorry.
had some.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It was there to be eaten. It was the entire idea of a memorial like that is comfort, and comfort food is the comfort that I know best.
When I saw you making a casserole, I recognized our similar religious upbringings.
Oh, yes.
At least there weren't 20 different potato salads.
Oh,
That happens.
It happens more than I would like to admit. Coryn, do you have any final thoughts?
Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. There's no right way to do any of this. I don't have a whole lot more.
How about you, Awesome?
I got nothing this time. Sorry.
Okay.
Can we add in some support websites
Oh,
or
please do.
800
do.
numbers? I don't have any on hand right
Oh,
this minute, but maybe
okay.
in the show notes.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get some of those and plug
There's
them in.
lots of places to call for grief support. There's lots of support groups in town as well.
If you want to, I'm putting us out there. If you want to reach out to us, reach out to gothampresspodcast@gmail.com. Even if it's just to vent, I mean, we're not going to try and give you life advice,
We are not medical professionals in any way, shape, or capacity.
But if you just want to talk, you're welcome to do that.
If you want to share your own story of
Yeah,
grief, loss, or even how you got through it, you know what?
that would be very helpful.
Share to us how, if you did, how you got through it. Share to us what you did. Not that we want to steal it or do anything like that. Just a story of, hey, I went through this horrible thing, but this is how I got through it, and this is how I came out the other side better.
That's something I forgot to say about my group as well, is that there's not a mental health professional present. And
we are amateurs.
Everyone should have a plan for their own self-care afterwards.
Actually, we do have a couple of mental health care professionals in the group. I think we ought to reach out to them and see if they're willing to come to our group.
That would be wonderful. That would be very, very welcome.
I do have one final thought. Never wish death upon anybody. Even if they've wronged you in some horrible way, never wish death upon them, because if something happens, then you've got that to carry. If you absolutely have to do something, wish upon them while they're in bumper-to-bumper traffic, explosive diarrhea, and lots of sneezing. But never wish death upon anybody.
You're not punishing them, you're punishing their loved ones.
Yeah.
Hector?
Well, same could be said for the diarrhea.
You
That's
know,
punishing them.
one thing that has really helped me get through a lot of bad times is just find something to be happy about. You know, it could be something simple, a good meal, you know, go outside, look at the trees, the grass, listen to the birds. You know, sometimes if you have a hobby, you know, poetry, art, whatever it is, I think a good part of self-care is just engaging in things that lift your spirits in some way. It doesn't have to be anything major, but there were definitely times in my life when, you know, about the only thing I had to look forward to was a good meal, or more recently, you know, just waking up and interacting with my pets, and you know, just appreciate what you have, because you never know how long you're going to have it.
I would also suggest that we all come together as a community and make a promise to ourselves that we're going to continue this support for her family,
Yes.
Yeah.
because the press attention is going to fade quickly. And those kids are never going to forget every single day and every single anniversary. They're not going to forget. And letting them know that we remember is going to be helpful in the future. People are always afraid to say, oh, I noticed today is an anniversary, but no, say it. Say that you remember, because that helps.
So, with that, just want to say goodbye, Mickey.
See you on the other side.